Welcome to 8 Minutes Reading. This episode, I read Part 3. Sustainable Forest Use Management Planning. Article 495. Sustainable Forest Use and Management Planning. 1. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and subnational administration shall develop a 5-year sustainable forest use planning and a 5-year sustainable forest management planning, or as deemed necessary. 2. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and subnational administrations shall organize separate and unique consultations for areas resided by the local community or related to the interests of the local community to affirm the respect of the value of customary and traditional interests and rights. Article 496. Sustainable forest use plans. A sustainable forest resource use plan shall take into consideration the following: A. Type, quantity and quality of forest based on forest resource data. B. Forest ecological value. C. Location of local communities and need for livelihood. D. Positive and negative operations outside. Part 4. Permit. Article 497. Relevant activities. All persons requesting activities in sustainable management forest areas shall apply for a permit from the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources or subnational administrations as follows: A. Taking timber products and non-timber forest products for commercial use. B. Managing timber products and non-timber forest products for commercial use. C. Harvesting and selling of timber products and non-timber forest products for commercial purposes. D. Transporting of timber products and non-timber forest products. E. Exporting of timber products and non-timber forest products. F. Using forests for technical or scientific research. G. Establishing a stock place to sell and distribute timber and non-timber forest products. H. Establishing a facility for the forestry industry, sawmill, or timber and non-timber forest product processing. I. Establishing any kiln using timber and non-timber forest products as raw material. J. Production of charcoal and firewood. K. Any other commercial activity shall comply with this code's provisions. L. All commercial activities in sustainable production forests shall have a prior permit. Article 498. Review of the permit application. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources or subnational administrations shall review permit applications considering the following conditions in relation to the proposed activity. A. It is consistent with the surrounding landscape's conservation purpose. B. It supports and improves local communities' livelihoods. C. It contributes to biodiversity and ecosystem value protection. D. It's consistent with national and subnational land use and sustainable forest management plans. E. It follows guidelines by competent ministries or institutions in project design, project implementation, and closure. F. It meets other practical requirements. Part 5. Traditional use rights. Article 499. State obligation to guarantee use rights. The state shall recognize and guarantee the rights of use for traditional practice, customs, beliefs, religion, and local community livelihood in or near sustainable management forest areas in compliance with the provisions of this code. Article 500. Traditional use rights. 1. The additional use rights of local communities for timber products in non-timber forest products shall not require a permit. 2. Additional use rights include but are not limited to the following: A. Gather deadwood, pick wild fruits, collect honey, extract resin, and collect other non-timber forest products. B. Cutting grass and releasing animals for food. C. Household subsistence and traditional use of timber products and non-timber forest products. D. The right to traditional barter and exchange and sale in local communities does not require a permit. Persons intending to commercialize non-timber forest products with local communities shall have a permit as stated in Article 497. Relevant activities of this code. Part 6. Sustainable Forest Trade Management Plan and Report. Article 501. Scope of Forest Trade Management Plans. Forest trade management plans established for all sustainable management forest commercial activities shall be proportional to the size, density, and risks of these commercial activities. Forest trade management plans shall be implemented and regularly updated based on survey, monitoring, and evaluation data to promote sustainable forest management. Article 502. Section of Forest Trade Management Plans. Forest trade management plans shall a. Define forest trade in specific areas in accordance with commercial activities, including, but not limited to, the descriptions and location of the planned activities. B. Define the targets, purpose, and outcome of commercial activities related to resources to be used, social criteria, and incomes. C. Define the roles and responsibilities of relevant stakeholders. D. Define quotas for collections of timber products and non-timber forest products. E. Define implementation dates and periods. F. Define a budget plan. G. Define appropriate management implementation based on relevant legal instruments. H. Define silviculture implementation plan. I. Define the procedure for forest product certification, if applicable. J. Define forest product processing and transportation. K. Define strategy for monitoring, evaluation, and reporting. Article 503. Forest Trade Management Report. 1. The ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and subnational administrations shall prepare annual forest trade management reports with participation from relevant ministries or institutions. 2. Forest trade management plans and reports should be made publicly available in accordance with the provisions of this Code Part 7. Forest royalties and premiums. Article 504. Forest royalties and premiums payment. 1. Persons collecting timber and non-timber forest products for commercial purposes in sustainable management forest areas shall pay forest royalties and premiums to the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources or subnational administrations. 2. Quality and quantity assessment shall be conducted before transportation. Article 505. Redistribution of forest royalties and premiums. Redistributions of collected forest royalties and premiums shall comply with an interministerial process of the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and the ministries or institutions responsible for economy and finance. Article 506. Requirements for forest royalties and premiums. Waiver payment of forest royalties and premiums shall be exempted in the following cases. A. Collection of timber products and non-timber forest products from private forests. B. Traditional use by local communities. C. Scientific purposes. Article 507. Delay in forest royalties and premiums payment. 1. If the permit holder does not pay forest royalties and premiums by the agreed date with the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources at the subnational level, timber and non-timber forest products shall be retained. 2. Delay in forest royalties and premiums payment shall be in accordance with criteria stated in a process by the minister responsible for environment and natural resources. Article 508. Procedure for forest royalties and premiums payment. Procedures for forest royalties and premium payments shall be determined in an inter-ministerial process of the ministry responsible for environment and natural resources and the ministries or institutions responsible for economy and finance.